Okay, so picture this. You're out camping miles from any city lights, and the sky's just bursting with stars, and as you gaze up, you notice something incredible. There's this line of celestial beacons stretching across the night sky. Venus is blazing, Mars is glowing red, Jupiter's shining steady, and even Saturn, you can see the rings with your naked eye. It's not science fiction. This is a planetary alignment, and 2025 is going to be a fantastic year to catch these.
It really is. I mean, you've perfectly captured, I think, why they fascinated people for centuries.
Yeah, so let's dive right in. This month, we have a six-planet alignment coming up in January. What will we be able to see and when?
So the show starts early in the month. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn will all be on display bright enough to be seen without a telescope.
Wow, so even in a city, someone might be able to catch a glimpse.
It's possible, but to really appreciate the alignment, I always recommend finding a spot with as little light pollution as possible. And here's a bonus: on January 8th, a crescent moon will join the party, adding to the spectacle.
Ooh, that's a good photo op. You mentioned Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Will they all be equally easy to spot?
Good question. Venus will be the easiest to find. Venus is often called the morning star or evening star because it's so bright. Especially right now, Mars will have that signature reddish hue and Jupiter will be whitish. Saturn will be the faintest of the four, but still visible if you have good viewing conditions.
Yeah.
And if you have a telescope, you'll be able to see Saturn's rings.
That's pretty cool. It's amazing to think how different they all are, but from our perspective here, they just look like these pinpoints of light strung across the sky. Are any going to be especially close together?
Yes, Venus and Saturn will be having a particularly close encounter in the constellation Aquarius. They'll be just a few degrees apart on January 18th and 20th.
Degrees. Can you explain that for listeners who might not be familiar with that measurement?
Sure. Imagine holding your fist at arm's length against the sky. Your fist covers roughly 10 degrees. So when we say Venus and Saturn will be a few degrees apart, they'll appear closer than the width of your fist.
That's helpful. So close enough to be in a single binocular view.
Exactly. It's a great opportunity to see the difference in brightness. Astronomers use a scale called magnitude to measure the brightness of celestial objects. The lower the magnitude number, the brighter the object. Venus, during this alignment, will have a magnitude of -4.5, while Saturn will be much fainter at magnitude 1.
So negative magnitude means it's extremely bright.
Yes, very bright.
I'm already marking my calendar. Is there anything else special about Venus and Saturn during this time?
Well, one more thing. Shortly after this pairing, Saturn will be heading toward a period of invisibility.
Invisibility. What do you mean by that?
It's not actually disappearing, but from our perspective, it will be passing behind the sun, making it too close to the sun's glare to be seen. Astronomers call this a solar conjunction.
Oh, so anyone hoping to get a last glimpse of Saturn before it goes into hiding should see it during the first few weeks of January. That raises a question. If we can see 6 planets lined up this month, does that mean we could potentially see all 7 planets in alignment at some point?
You're thinking along the right lines. And in fact, a 7-planet alignment is exactly what we have to look forward to next month in February. It's an even rarer event, and it presents some unique challenges.
This is where it gets exciting.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this 7-planet alignment and what makes it so challenging.
Well, the main challenge is going to be timing and location. All 7 planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, will be grouped together in the sky just after sunset. However, some of them will be very close to the horizon, making them harder to spot.
Which ones are going to be the trickiest?
Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune are going to be the most elusive. Mercury is always a challenge because it's so close to the sun, and in this alignment, it will be very low in the sky during twilight. Saturn will also be quite low as it'll be approaching that solar conjunction we talked about earlier, and Neptune is simply very faint, even at its brightest. So to catch this 7-planet alignment, you'll need a clear western horizon, and you'll need to be ready right as the sun dips below the horizon.
So timing is everything. What about equipment? Will we need binoculars or telescopes to see all 7 planets?
For the brighter planets like Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, your naked eyes will suffice. But to catch the fainter ones, especially Uranus and Neptune, binoculars or a telescope will definitely be helpful.
I'm starting to get a sense of why this 7-planet alignment is so special. It's not just about seeing the planets. It's about the challenge, the timing, and the tools needed to witness this rare celestial gathering.
Exactly. And the fact that we can predict these alignments with such precision is a testament to how far we've come in understanding the motions of the planets in our solar system.
It's like having a front row seat to the intricate cosmic ballet of our solar system. But while these alignments are visually stunning, I'm curious about their scientific significance. Do these alignments have any gravitational effects on the planets or on us here on Earth?
That's a great question, and one that often comes up. While the combined gravitational pull of all the planets is certainly a force to be reckoned with, the effect of an alignment on Earth is negligible. The planets are so far apart that their gravitational influence on each other, even when aligned, is incredibly small. So no need to worry about any apocalyptic tidal waves or earthquakes caused by planetary alignments.
Okay, good to know.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
can enjoy these alignments for their beauty and rarity without fearing any cosmic repercussions.
Precisely. And speaking of rare celestial events, this year isn't just about planetary alignments. We also have some spectacular conjunctions to look forward to.
Conjunctions, those are when two or more celestial bodies appear close together in the sky, right?
That's right. Think of them as close encounters of the cosmic kind.
I love that. So what kind of conjunctions can we expect this year?
Well, one of the most stunning will be the conjunction of Venus and Jupiter on August 12th. Imagine the two brightest planets in our sky practically shining as one. And to make things even more spectacular, this conjunction coincides with the peak of the Perseid meteor shower.
Wow, that sounds incredible. A conjunction and a meteor shower in one night. Talk about a celestial double feature. But wouldn't the brightness of Venus and Jupiter make it harder to see the meteors?
That's a good point. While the planets will be dazzling, the Perseids are known for producing bright meteors, some even leaving persistent trails. So with a little patience and a dark sky location, you should still be able to catch quite a show.
I'm definitely marking that one on my calendar. Are there any other conjunctions we should keep an eye out for?
Well, there's a rather unique event happening on March 13th, a lunar occultation of Mars.
Occultation. That sounds intriguing. What exactly does that mean?
It's essentially a celestial hide-and-seek game. In this case, the moon will pass directly in front of Mars, temporarily hiding it from view.
So it's like a mini eclipse, but with the moon blocking Mars instead of the sun.
You got it. And what makes this occultation special is that it will only be visible from certain parts of North America and Africa.
So a truly localized event.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how our view of the cosmos is shaped by our location here on Earth.
Absolutely. It highlights that our perspective on the universe is constantly shifting, just like the planets themselves. And speaking of shifting perspectives, we also have a couple of triple conjunctions to look forward to this year.
Triple conjunctions.
Mhm.
So that's three celestial objects appearing close together. This is getting better and better.
Indeed, on February 1st, we'll have the crescent moon nestled between Venus and Saturn in the evening sky. Then, on April 25th, a waning crescent moon will form a smiley face with Venus and Saturn in the pre-dawn sky.
A cosmic smiley face. I love it. It sounds like these conjunctions create some truly unique and delightful patterns in the sky. But I have to ask, why do these conjunctions occur? Is it just a random coincidence?
Well, not exactly random. These conjunctions happen because of the different orbital speeds and paths of the planets and the moon. From our viewpoint here on Earth, these celestial bodies appear to line up, creating these fascinating visual groupings.
So it's all about perspective and the interplay of these celestial movements. That makes sense.
And these conjunctions, much like the alignments, remind us that we're part of a constantly moving and evolving cosmic system governed by the laws of physics and celestial mechanics.
With so many incredible events happening this year, I bet our listeners are eager to get out there and experience these celestial wonders firsthand. Do you have any tips for aspiring sky watchers?
Absolutely. First and foremost, check the weather forecast. Clear skies are essential for optimal viewing. There are plenty of weather apps and websites that can give you a heads up on the best nights for stargazing.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've been caught out by that a couple of times. What else should we keep in mind?
Light pollution is a big one. City lights can really wash out the night sky, making it harder to see fainter planets and stars.
So a trip out of the city might be in order.
Exactly. If you can head out to a rural area or a designated dark sky site, you'll be amazed how much more you can see when you get away from all the artificial lights.
And I know this might sound silly, but do we need any special equipment to see these events? You mentioned binoculars or a telescope for the fainter planets, but what about the brighter ones?
The great thing about these planetary alignments and conjunctions is that the brightest planets, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, will be visible to the naked eye. So you don't necessarily need any fancy equipment to enjoy the show. But if you want to get a closer look at Uranus, Neptune, or Mercury, or see more detail on the surface of the moon, then binoculars or a telescope will definitely enhance your viewing experience.
So there's really something for everyone, whether you're a seasoned astronomer with a high-powered telescope or someone just starting out with a simple pair of binoculars. It's all about getting out there and experiencing the wonder of the cosmos.
Exactly. And speaking of getting out there, my last tip is to plan ahead. These events happen at specific times and locations, so it's a good idea to mark your calendar and set reminders. You don't want to miss these fleeting moments.
Excellent advice. It's easy to forget to look up. So with all that said, what would you say is the most important takeaway for our listeners? Why should we care about these planetary alignments and conjunctions?
That's a great question. I think these events are important on several levels. First, they're simply beautiful. They remind us of the vastness and wonder of the universe. Seeing these objects lined up in such a precise and predictable way can be awe-inspiring, even humbling. It's a chance to connect with something much bigger than
It's
ourselves.
like the universe is putting on a show just for us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And beyond the spectacle, these events also offer a chance to learn and appreciate the dance of the planets in our solar system. They remind us that we're part of a constantly moving and evolving cosmic system governed by the laws of physics.
Like a giant celestial clockwork.
Precisely. And the fact that we can predict these alignments and conjunctions with such accuracy is a testament to the advancements we've made in astronomy. We've come a long way from just observing the sky with our naked eyes.
It's amazing to think how far we've come. And yet there's still so much we don't know. Every new discovery opens up more questions.
That's the beauty of science. It's a never-ending quest. And these events, as rare as they are just a small part of that story.
Like glimpses into the grand cosmic narrative.
Well said. And I think that sense of wonder and curiosity is what drives us to explore.
I couldn't agree more. So to wrap things up, I want to reiterate that 2025 is shaping up to be an incredible year for stargazing. We have a rare 6-planet alignment in January, followed by an even rarer 7-planet alignment in February. Plus, we have those stunning conjunctions, including a Venus-Jupiter pairing that coincides with the Perseid meteor shower, and even a lunar occultation of Mars.
Truly a celestial smorgasbord.
Absolutely. And whether you're a seasoned astronomer or a curious beginner, get out there, look up, and experience these cosmic events. It's a chance to connect with something much bigger than ourselves and to rekindle that sense of awe and wonder that we all had as children. And who knows, maybe this will inspire some of our listeners to learn even more.
I certainly hope so. There's a whole universe out there waiting.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of another fascinating deep dive here on Cosmos in a Pod. Thank you for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
And for our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow and subscribe to Cosmos in a Pod and our YouTube channel, and leave a review if you enjoyed it. And most importantly, keep looking up. There's always something amazing happening in the cosmos, just waiting to be discovered.